library card pockets, but make it junk journal-y. Today, we're making two styles of library card pockets. One with a flashcard and digital paper, and another from a good old manila folder. Whether you're team clean or team collage, there's a pocket here for you. So stick around to see how it all comes together. Hi, it's time once again for coffee, crafting, and cats in spirit with the Ginger Cat Lady. I'm Pam, and Harley is, well, he's still off chasing shadows and mischief back in California while I'm in Australia playing with pockets. So today we're on the letter L in the hashtag ABC April 2025 collaboration, hosted by Margaret at Seven Plaza and Tony at Crafty by Tony. For the letter L, we're diving into a classic, library card pockets. But don't worry, this isn't your school librarian's pocket. If you want to craft along, you're going to need some scissors, a glue stick, and some other sturdier glue like Barely Arts or Art Glitter Glue. If you don't have a paper cutter, you're going to need a ruler and a pencil. I don't have a paper cutter with me, so that's what I'm using. You will need a flashcard, just a plain old flashcard, and some library pocket cards, because what is a library card pocket without library cards, right? Some digital paper, some scrapbook paper. I've got 5 kinds of 12 by 12, and a plain old file folder. So let me get this cleared off, and I will be right back. For the first pocket, I'm using a flashcard and some digital paper to give it a vintage feel. First, I'm taking a standard flashcard and covering the front with digital paper. I'm using my ruler to make creases where I want to line the flashcard up. Then I will use my glue stick to attach the card to the paper and then cut it out. There's a little bit of paper that I missed on the rounded corners when I was trimming it, so I'm using my sanding tool to sand that off. Then I'm going to ink around the top and side edges. Next, I'm using a separate piece of paper to act as the pocket. I'm adding 1/2 inch to both the sides and the bottom, and you will see why in the next step. Now I'm creating side tabs on the pocket piece. I marked 7/16 of an inch on both sides and 1/2 inch on the bottom. This is why I added 1/2 inch to both sides and bottom on the previous step. Next, I score the tabs to make them easier to fold. The mat didn't work so well, so I ended up using the point of my scissors to score the 2 sides. Then I trim the bottom corners to remove some of the bulk. Watch how I cut them in a curve. Now to trim the top corners, and then it's time to add some ink to the pocket piece to give it that cool vintage look. For the last step, I add glue to the tabs, line the pocket up along the bottom of the flashcard, and press the tabs down. Finally, it's time to add some more ink to the sides of the pocket. And there you have it. Our first pocket is finished. Let me clean this little mess up and we'll get on to pocket number 2. Now let's make one with a manila file folder. My pocket needs to be 3.5 inches wide, so I'm going to cut the folder at 4.5 inches to make room for the tabs like before. Then I will use the library card to determine where to trim to create the taller back part of the pocket and the shorter front part of the pocket. When I trim the top, I cut through both layers of the file folder. Then I unfold it and trim down the front panel so it's shorter, like a real library pocket where the card peeks out. Now I'm marking 1/2 inch on either side of the pocket. This will mark not only the tabs for the bottom of the pocket, but also the portion that needs to be trimmed from the top back piece to make it narrower. On the bottom pocket piece, cut a slant towards the 1/2 inch mark on both sides. This removes the bulk from the bottom of the pocket flap. Then I trim straight up along the inside of the 1/2 inch line to make the top part narrower. Don't forget to trim the top corners of the pocket at an angle too. Next, I will score along the 1/2 inch line on each tab. And if the tabs don't fold so that the pocket lays flat, then you're going to trim itsy bitsy strips off the sides until it fits perfectly. I wanted rounded corners, so I used the corners of another flashcard since I forgot to bring my corner rounder with me to Australia. For this pocket, I decided to collage instead of using just one decorative paper. So I'm going to collage before I glue the pocket down. I'm using 5 different pieces of coordinating 12 by 12 papers to create the perfect vintagey look. I'm going to add some ink to the edges of each layer to add some more vintage vibe and to add some definition and depth to the papers as well. Off camera, I glued the 2 side tabs to the back of the pocket and then inked it up. Now for the fun part, decorating. I'm going to start by using my distress watercolor pencils on some leaves, a flower, and maybe a butterfly. Well, when do I not add a butterfly? Okay, let's add our watercolor pieces to the pockets. For this pocket, I decided to use some torn book page, a specimen label, and a phrase sticker that says, "Don't forget to fly." I love, love, love how this turned out. Now it's time to decorate the other pocket. I decided to use some leaves, a flower, and a botanical label on this one, along with the word phrase, "Everything has beauty." This truly turned out to be a beauty. With both pockets done, I'm picking one to tuck into my journal. I love how they both turned out, but I think I like the file folder library card pocket the best. So it will go into my journal. These are perfect for tags, hidden journaling, or ephemera. And let's be honest, I'll probably have 5 more made by the end of the week. So that's it. 2 totally different takes on a library card pocket, and both perfect for tucking in all those little treasures. Let me know in the comments whether you're team file folder or team flashcard. I hope this inspired you to create something scrappy and special for your journal. If you try this out, I'd love to see what you make. Tag me or drop a comment so we can geek out over pockets together. And as always, may your scraps be endless and your glue never run dry. See you in the next one. Bye.